Hey everyone, in this video we'll be going through day 1 of week 16 MOTs. You'll have a very similar MOT on Wednesday, so I wanted to go through this in case you want to watch it, study it, and try to do better on Wednesday. So number 1, or the first problem, says solve by substitution. Substitution, we're going to take everything that y is equal to right here, and we're going to substitute it in for this y. And so we're going to have x minus, and then where this y was, we're going to have what this stuff is. So negative x squared plus 6x minus 6, and then we still have this equals 2. From there, there's an invisible negative 1 on the outside here, so I'm going to distribute this negative 1 all the way through. So I'll have x, and then negative 1 times a negative x squared is positive x squared. Negative 1 times positive 6x is negative 6x, and negative 1 times negative 6 is a positive 6 equals 2. Now, right here, I notice that I have this little square, and so that means that this is a quadratic equation, and the easiest way to solve a quadratic is to factor it, but to factor it, you need it equal to 0 first. So I'm going to do 2 steps in one. I'm actually going to combine this x and this negative 6x. I'm also going to subtract this 2 from the 6 so that I get it equal to 0. So this x squared is going to come down first. X minus 6x, this is really a 1x. Minus 6x gives me negative 5x. And then 6 minus 2 gives me positive 4, and that's equal to 0. From here, I want to try to factor it if it's factorable. So x times x is going to give me that x squared. And then factors that give me 4 are 1 and 4, 2 and 2. I can tell to get this 5 in the middle, I want 1 and 4. To get the negative 5, I want a negative 1 and a negative 4. From there, using zero product property, x minus 1 is equal to 0. If you add the 1 over, you get x equals 1. And then from here, x minus 4 equals 0, add the 4 over, and you get x equals 4. This is where your solving quadratics points came from. So solving quadratics came from here. But you're not done solving the system. You actually have to take each x and plug it in. So I'm going to plug in x equals 1. I'm going to choose this bottom equation to plug it into. Whoops, my highlighter did not work very well there. Oh, okay. I'm going to choose the bottom equation to plug it into because it's going to be a lot nicer. It starts with x minus y. My x is 1 minus y is equal to 2. To solve for y, I'll subtract the 1 over. I have negative y is equal to 1. Divide by negative 1. And I've got y is negative 1. So putting that together, my first point is going to be 1 comma negative 1. And then x equals 4. You have to plug these in separately because they might give you different y values. And so I've got 4 minus y is equal to 2. Subtract the 4, and I get negative y is equal to negative 2. Divide by negative 1, and you get y is equal to 2. Sorry, my arrow should go there. My x for this solution was 4. My y is 2. This is where some of your solving systems points came from. So solving systems was here and here. The rest of your solving systems points came from the bottom. And so the bottom says solve by graphing. I've got equation number 1 and equation number 2. For equation number 1, I know that that's absolute value, which means that it should look like a V shape when I graph it. For absolute value, you have a vertex. Opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. And there's actually a plus 0 out here, and so my vertex is 4, 0. I have 2 slopes with absolute value, a positive and a negative 2. You could put 2 over 1 if you want. We used a negative 2 in our equation, so this opens down. So starting at 4, 0, and down to right 1 every time. And then I'll go back up and down to left 1 every time. And there's my absolute value and number 1. Equation number 2 is quadratic because of that x squared. And my quadratic equation is in standard form. I want it in vertex form, so I'm going to complete the square. So I've got g of x equals group x squared minus 4x plus blank. And then notice on this one as well, there's also a plus 0 there. And so you're actually moving 0 out and then minus blank. I'm ready to factor this into a square. Remember, factoring into a square means my factors need to be the same. And so two numbers that are going to add to make -4 and are the same number are -2 and -2. -2 times -2 is 4, which means -4 goes on the end, and 0 minus 4 is -4. So g of x can be rewritten as x minus 2 squared minus 4, which means my vertex is 2, -4, and my a is 1. And so 2, -4 is actually a point I already have, and so that's going to be a solution. And then I'm going to go from that point out 1, up 1, and then from that vertex out 2, up 4, I bump into this point, and then I have this one, back to the vertex out 3, up 9, and I'm ready to graph my parabola. And that's equation number 2. My 2 points where I cross, my first one is 4, 0, and my second one is 2, -4. That's also where SS came from, so I was nice and gave you an SS point for each of these. And then looking back up at the top, you do have a GP point for graphing your absolute value or graphing your piecewise, and then you also have a graphing quadratics point for graphing that parabola correctly. So a lot of points here. If you missed any of these points, hopefully you can see where you messed up, and let's try to fix it for Wednesday.